we have this one customer voice, which is in all our M365 products. When you do submit feedback, it comes in, and you can imagine when there's hundreds of millions of users using the product and submitting feedback, having a human go through the data and come up with meaningful insights it's a pretty time-consuming task.
Yeah.
And now we have agents that mine the data for us and gives us the themes that we need to go act on.
Welcome back to the Teams Insider podcast. This week we have a great conversation with Mahendra. He is a corporate vice president at Microsoft, leading the core communications and collaboration platform, or IC3 you might have heard of. This is the back-end infrastructure that supports Teams and calling and Teams Phone and the Dynamics Contact Center. Really great insights into what's going on with IC3, how AI is impacting in terms of features, but also in terms of development and operations, and where we can expect AI features in IC3 and comms and collaboration through 2026. Many thanks to Mahendra for jumping on the podcast. Always a pleasure to have him on. And also many thanks to AudioCode, who are the sponsor of this podcast. Really appreciate all their support. On with the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Really excited to have Mahendra on the podcast. We've had him on a couple of times before, and it's 2026, a new year. So really excited to get his perspective, everything that's going on with the IC3 team. Mahendra, welcome back to the pod.
Yeah, good morning, Tom. Great to be back. And thank you for your continued advocacy and championing of teams in a variety of forums. It's always a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Awesome. I appreciate it. So just to recap quickly for people that may not know, I feel like everybody in our space would know, but your role and what the IC3 team do, can you just give us a quick recap on that?
Yeah, so I'm a CVP here at Microsoft, and I lead the product management and data science functions for all of IC3. And IC3, for people who are not familiar with it, it stands for Intelligent Conversations and Communication Cloud. And you should think about this IC3 as the core comms and collab platform for the entirety of Microsoft. So we build all the media technologies, we build all the messaging services, calling services, PSTN connectivity. And so we are the core comms hub for the company. And, we are kind of like the backbone for Teams, as you may know, but we also support a variety of other products like Dynamics and any multimodal interaction that happens in products across Microsoft is something that we contribute to, whether it's Copilot or Copilot Studio.
Yeah, so when we see all those big numbers from Teams, like the 320 million monthly active or the 26 million PSTN users now, that's your team's infrastructure on the back end kind of holding up those sessions.
100%, yeah.
Awesome. So there's so much I want to get into, but I mean, it feels like we can't not talk about AI, being that it's the biggest thing going on in the industry. But I think particularly for your space, it's so interesting where AI and real time are coming together, and there's so much potential, but also so many challenges with the scale and the compute costs and everything that's going on. Maybe you can give us some thoughts about how AI has come into the IC3 world, and I'd just love to hear you riff on it.
Yeah, so let me first start with maybe a internal look on how AI has impacted us at IC3 and at Microsoft. One of the magic that AI unlocks is information at your fingertips, and it's amazing how as humans we develop habits. And for me, there are several habits that I've built over the past couple of years, which if somebody takes away, I will feel very crippled. So, starting off my day with, going to researcher and getting a daily brief. So I'm actually prepared for my meetings where the agent is able to go look at previous instances of the meeting, what actions I took. So I don't show up. I show up to the meeting well. There's something that, I feel very thankful for. And it's like one of those things that you don't, it's hard to put a number against it in terms of quantification, but like in terms of how much it has helped my personal productivity, it is just, it saved me hours and hours and hours, of learning.
It's hard to measure the like relative performance improvement as well, isn't it? Because it's not just minutes saved, but it's like I have the same thing. I use Copilot voice mode quite a lot. So on the way in the car, I'll be like, tell me what's going on for the day. Yeah. And again, I find that hugely valuable to just hit my day better.
That's right. And one of the things that since I lead the product function, we are seeing, if you were to just ask my candid opinion about, hey, have we fully reimagined ourselves as fully kind of AI native engineers and product managers, I would say the answer is no. But if I look at everybody across the team, they're looking at every single thing they do and looking at ways for how AI can make that more efficient for them. And so it is like one of those things where, you have, these incremental wins that collectively makes us a lot more productive. So, we are kind of also leaning towards more towards model first product building, particularly when you're building AI experiences. How we understand the model's capabilities and tailor the experiences to build products for our customers is something that we have gotten a lot better at compared to 2 years ago. And another operation function that you'll hear a lot of people at Microsoft talk about that has evolved, which we are kind of in the middle of as well, just given we are the core multimodal platform for Microsoft, is the evals and evaluation frameworks. Given that these LLMs are inherently probabilistic in nature, you need to have the right mechanisms to evaluate how well the model is performing and be able to continuously verify it and get better.
So, and you guys have lots of models available to you, right, don't you? Because correct. Microsoft are taking a play of, we'll give options, obviously externally with Microsoft Foundry, right. But I'm sure internally as well, you've got your own models you're developing in-house, you've got access to all the open AI IP, Anthropic seems to be playing a bigger role now as well.
That's right. So because we believe, ultimately our belief is that models are not going to be, at least the frontier models are not going to be the differentiating moat. It is the experiences and the layers that you build on top of it is where the differentiation comes in. So that, I think from an evals perspective, it's been a lot of learnings, I would say, but one of our leaders kind of calls it as crawling through glass or crawling over glass. It's painful, but when you reach the destination, it's actually very fulfilling. And the places where IC3 we are spending a lot of time on evals is you mentioned the Copilot voice mode. So we are, we provide the core technology for Copilot voice mode. So you can expect, things like voice isolation, noise suppression, all of that stuff to happen. So we do a bunch of evals, kind of introducing some of these environmental noises, to see how the system is functioning. Similarly, I know we haven't, the industry or the community may be curious on, hey, what are you doing with phone and AI? And there is a lot that we're working on. I cannot share the details right now, but you can expect that pretty much every part of the phone experience will be reimagined with AI. And today we do support, Copilot for phones, so you can do transcriptions, but that's it's almost like a table stakes thing. But you can think about capabilities where we are driving customer engagement, whether it's through call queues or individual call handling. There'll be intelligence wrappers around it. But we are also not just thinking about, I don't think about AI as just enhancing the comms experience. AI is going to, I think, evolve the communications experience. So communications doesn't become a point-in-time activity. It becomes part of a workflow. So it's like activating the workflows that precede or follow conversations or meetings or calls. is where we are spending a lot of, thought power on and product building capabilities on. So when we get it to our customers, they can clearly see, the incremental value they get by, using our products. Because ultimately, if you think about it, like our customers don't buy our products because they like Microsoft or they think Microsoft is cool. Of course, they do like Microsoft. Microsoft products are cool, but they are buying our products so they can do their job more effectively. Yeah. So if I'm a researcher in Pfizer, the technology is just a mechanism for me to get my job done. And we are committed to building the best technology that allows the customers to unleash their fullest capabilities.
Yeah, there's a few things I want to pick up on. Like one of the things is, I think AI is clearly massively disruptive and changing for multiple industries, but comms, it feels like, is one of the potentially most positively disrupted and potentially the most easy to adopt. Things like meeting recaps have been so incredibly popular across everybody because it's everything. Everybody understands it. It happens automatically. So I'm really excited about our space from that point of view. But then you've kind of got the I don't know if you call it basic, but like a real, we've all seen the real-time voice models. That's really exciting. So you mentioned phone. You can see where that comes into phone. But this idea of extracting the data from sessions and work IQ and ethereal intelligence coming out of your communications, that is the bigger game changer for me. Because like voice, an automated attendant that can talk in real time is really impressive, but I do a lot of calls and meetings. The system knowing what's going on around my whole life because it's in those sessions is just so potentially powerful.
100%. And again, like I think you touched on agents there, I think agentic AI is I would say that 2026 is the year where we are going to scale AI across the board. Like it's not just Microsoft. I think across our competition, across the industry, you'll see a lot of scaling of the AI capabilities happening. And, the way we imagine Teams is, we had this vision of Teams kind of being the hub for M365. 5 years ago, there was a narrative. And it continues to be, but I think Teams will evolve to be the place where not just humans kind of connect with each other, but where agents interact with humans as well. And the other thing is bringing these workflows and making them so Teams just starts evolving to become the hub where work gets done and not just where conversations happen.
Interesting. How have you seen the AI capabilities and tooling affect how you guys think about development and product management, that kind of thing? I'd be interested for your perspective on how it's changed how your teams work.
No, that's a great question. And interestingly, we had a leadership offsite yesterday, and it was a big topic of discussion for us in terms of how we can do more with, how do you basically drive the throughput of our engineering teams by 10x, right? I mean, how do you make each of our engineers a 10x engineer?
Yeah.
When you break it down, particularly when dealing with kind of large scale, complex systems that have been built over decades, compare that to, a product that you're starting from scratch. I think they have different benefiting points. Because if you take one of these large scale systems, the cost of writing code is probably a fraction of the time relative to where the developer is spending majority of the time, right? If I take a pull request that I basically submit and then validate and then roll it into production, I probably spend maybe 5%, 10% of my time with in coding it. But the majority of the time is kind of going through all the other steps I need to do, getting the right security token, finding the right environment, doing the validations, and then, flighting this into our production rings. So the way we think about it is I think from a coding agent perspective, it's incredible how much these coding agents have evolved, right? Whether it's GitHub Copilot's coding agent, or if you look at Cloud Code, it's just magical to see what some of these CLIs are able to accomplish. And, it gives me, I used to be a developer 20 years ago. I haven't written code since then, but it gives me the confidence to go, try out some new product ideas and start building myself, right?
It's amazing for prototyping. I'm not a developer either, but I used to, write lots of PowerShell scripts, and that was as advanced as I got. And similar thing, I'm back into doing things because I'm wow, I can scratch my own itch of this really obscure automation I need to do.
That's right.
It's amazing. Right. And seeing that Claude Code is just over a year old as an example, and OpenAI's Codex and what Microsoft are doing with Copilot as well, how far we've come in so little time is fascinating.
100%. And then to just kind of fully answer your question, I think there are a variety of aspects where we are seeing the AI tooling come into play to help us, not just write code and deploy it, but also operate the code. So in the whole area of AIOps, we see tremendous benefits where, we have agents that when an incident happens, how it's able to go correlate to other similar incidents, suggest remedial action, and in some cases, even be able to take the remedial action with a human confirmation on your behalf, right? I mean, that entire workflow can be automated. So the team has built several agents. So we have this on-call engineer agent. We have a repair item agent, which is tracking, how people are treating incidents and the repair items that come from it. So there's all these little pockets that are emerging, which, collectively is driving tremendous efficiency. But the key point is when you're dealing with a large-scale system that has been a very complex distributed system, you cannot expect, the same kind of throughput that, somebody with a 10-person startup can go do.
That's an interesting insight that I hadn't really thought about. Like you say, if the coding bit is the 5% and the operational integration and go live is the 95%, you can optimize the 5% all day. But conversely, there's a lot of value to be had by optimizing the pipeline and the deployment and the ongoing monitoring and operations. But it's a different, more complex problem space in a sense.
That's right. And, just inherently as humans, there is also a basic resistance to change in terms of how you get your work done. So people fall back to their muscle memory and their usual habits. So it takes a little bit of intentionality as well as, advocacy and the kind of knowledge sharing and championing within the org to kind of drive that shift for everybody to be embracing AI as their, assistant in getting their job done.
And it's interesting to hear that because Microsoft, obviously a technology company, so some of the most advanced technical people working there, but you still have that cultural friction that is just human as to, I've always done it this way, I have to learn a new way. And AI is so evolving that even when you don't learn AI and then you're done, you're on either a roadmap or treadmill, depending on which way you look at it, of the tools I'm using are going to be different in 6 months and different in 12 months. Exactly.
And, I think this is where Satya keeps reiterating that, we've kind of embraced growth mindset as an essential part of our culture for the past decade. But, if you were to, there's no better time to embrace the growth mindset as it is today, where you need to kind of unlearn some of our habits and learn new ways of building products. Even for product management, give you an example. In the past, my PMs, when they had data needs, say that we are seeing this little uptick in, phone growth month over month. And then if they were to go understand, okay, let's go dig deeper to see which region, what segment are we seeing the growth in, what's driving the growth, are they using calling plans or is operator connect hunting? They had to go rely on a set of data engineers and analysts to go do that analysis and come back to them. Now, with pretty much all our data being part of a centralized data lake, we have all these self-serve analytics engines where I can just have a conversation with these data agents and derive incredible insights. Oftentimes when I'm in a review with the team, I'll ask them, hey, what about this? They'll say, okay, we'll come back to you in 2 weeks. And it takes 2 weeks because they had to go do all
and during that time, you decided you want to ask a different question anyway. So you're like, okay, yeah, great. Now another one.
Now I just, go ask the question myself, or if I ask a question, people will just ask the agent and give me the answer in near real time. which is fascinating. Like if you think about just that compression in terms of how PMs function, because one of the biggest jobs that we as PMs need to do is have a deep understanding of how our customers are using a product. And a very concrete way to understand that is by looking at the data and the telemetry. Now you have this extremely powerful tool that makes that information very easily accessible. So for the curious PM, it's the bounds are unlimited in terms of what they can accomplish.
Yeah, and that reduction in question to answer time is really interesting because it changes, I think, the way you think about, like, I'll fire off half a dozen random questions because who knows what insight will come out. And actually, like, you're in the flow of getting all kinds of different insights. You don't know. It's very hard, again, back to the top of our conversation, hard to articulate how much value is there, but that could be immense value if that PM picks out the right feature for the right customers and it's a successful feature.
Exactly. And actually you touch on one very interesting topic here in terms of picking the right feature for the right customer. Another theme that I suspect will evolve in the world of AI is this whole personalization aspect. Because, as you build deeper insights about the user and the product can actually learn from that, and you can think about even the user experience being kind of tailored to that individual user's needs. Like, if I take Teams as an example, if I'm a heavy calling user, you can think of the UI automatically navigating to the right points and be able to, pre-assess your intent and get everything kind of done for you. So it's like it reduces your number of clicks by, multiple factors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. Granular personalization. And it's interesting to me that in this first wave of AI adoption, the popular or the primary interface has actually been text and chat, either at command line encoding or in, in a chat, in web-based chat. But as you say, there might be a UI paradigm change there where actually the UI is slightly more dynamic to my use case, potentially.
That's right.
That's interesting.
And, another thing, just maybe to noodle on, Thomas, like going back to this question about the discussion we had about how when you ask a question, the turnaround time gets reduced when it comes to data. And as leaders, when we ask these questions, we have certain intuition about, what's happening, which is what prompts these questions, or we have some instincts about, okay, maybe we should go do these steps and we want to validate that with data. But as you ask questions, now, even the PMs will start asking those questions themselves. And when they start asking those questions themselves, they will come up with once they get the answer to one question, they raise three other questions, which they will go dig deeper. So when they come present a view, it'll be a lot more complete and comprehensive view where it's fully informed, has kind of thought through all the different data dimensions. And, I just feel like from that perspective, you're shortening a bunch of life cycle in a variety of ways, right?
Yeah. And that takes me back to the real-time media and the work IQ and the organizational insights that I think is fascinating. Like if you're a department leader or a sales leader or a product leader in an organization, like, take contact center as an example that's, we both have a hand in the conversation there. Like we've always been able to record the data, but we've never been able to really meaningfully process all that data. You take a sample and you look at the samples, but now a product owner can go to the contact center team and say, what are the common themes of questions around our product or service? And what were the questions 3 months ago? And what like that insight, we've had the ability to collect the data. We've never had the ability to mine it in such a useful way.
Yeah, and actually, it's great you mentioned that because, within Microsoft, there's several places where we do that today, or we've been doing this for the past couple of years. When you have a bunch of customer-reported incidents that hit our engineering teams, our goal is to reduce the number of customer-reported incidents and, and make sure that, because as feature requests, there may be like service incidents as part of it. So one function we invested in from a discipline perspective maybe 3 years ago was problem management, where we are able to go through, the reams of customer support requests that come in, identify the themes, and then, figure, okay, this is a documentation issue, or this is a licensing issue. This is the default configuration has to change. So we've identified some of these patterns and have been able to proactively go address them. And we've seen a pretty significant, a very noticeable drop in our customer support ticket volume when we did that kind of intentionally, right? Similarly, today, like we have this one customer voice, which is that in all our M365 products, when you do submit feedback, it comes in, and you can imagine when there's hundreds of millions of users using the product and submitting feedback, having a human go through the data and come up with meaningful insights it's pretty time-consuming task.
Yeah.
And now we have agents that mine the data for us and gives us the themes that we need to go act on. Right.
Yeah,
so
that's such an exciting time to be in product, isn't it? And it's the fast feedback cycle of, theoretically, as this stuff comes along, developing faster, pipelines faster, feedback loop is faster. It's all accelerating, and
that's right.
But equally makes it very competitive, as you said at the top of the conversation. Like, everybody is moving faster now as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Mahendra, thanks so much for taking some time to jump on the pod. Really exciting to get your perspective. I know there's a lot coming this year from Teams and Phone and IC3 that we can't talk about quite yet. But maybe when some of that stuff's dropped, we can come back on the pod and then you can give us some insights into some of those developments.
Yeah, for sure, Tom. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to seeing you and, all the events, and I'll continue following you on LinkedIn. I always get a lot of good insights from your posts, so keep up the great work.
Awesome. Really appreciate it. Talking to you, Mahendra. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Take care, Tom.